After studying this module, you will be able to learn about moral hazard, one of the outcomes of asymmetric information. You will be able to analyze the problem of moral hazard in an insurance market and comprehend the efficiency effects of moral hazard. You will also be able to explore the various measures that can be undertaken to cope with the problem of moral hazard and understand the principal agent problem. What is asymmetric information? As discussed in the earlier modules, asymmetric information may cause significant problems with the efficient functioning of a market, leading to market failure. Asymmetric information is a situation where one party has more information than the other party in any transaction. Now, one of the outcomes of this information problem, that is adverse selection, has already been elaborated in the earlier module. So, in this module, we will focus on another aspect of asymmetric information, that is moral hazard. Now, moral hazard refers to situations where one side of the market can't observe the actions of the other. It is also sometimes called a hidden action. Hidden actions, moral hazard. Now, in contrast to hidden characteristics, a hidden action is something that is fully under the control of the individual and the other party has no information as to whether the individual is actually going to perform the hidden action or not. For example, a worker is hired and expected to work hard, but the employer has no idea and does not have the time to observe whether the worker is actually working hard. It is entirely under the control of the worker and he can choose to work hard or not work hard. An individual who has taken fire insurance, for example, can choose to smoke in the kitchen, but the insurance company will have no information as to whether he has chosen to smoke or not. Similarly, if an individual's home is fully insured against theft, then in that case, he may be less diligent about locking doors when he leaves and may choose not to install an alarm system. Now, when one party is fully insured and cannot be accurately monitored by the insurance company with limited information, the insured party may take an action that increases the likelihood that an accident or injury will occur. Now, in such situations of asymmetric information arising out of hidden actions, the problem that arises is that the informed side may take the wrong actions, an action which ought not to have been taken. The term moral hazard refers to the risk or hazard of such inappropriate behavior of the informed side. Now, let us try to illustrate moral hazard in the insurance market. Now, this problem of moral hazard was first identified in the insurance market, wherein once insured, the individuals made no attempt to prevent accidents. sometimes individuals actually made accidents happen. There are incidences of owners setting warehouses on fire to claim insurance. No attempt is made to prevent accidents because there is no incentive to do so. Now let us consider a situation of driving. A driver with no insurance will take all possible measures to prevent any accident because the cost incurred due to an accident is so high that it is worth preventing. Now figure 3.1 shows the total cost of damages associated with each level of preventive measures taken. It is downward sloping as higher levels of preventive measures are associated with lower levels of costs of damages. Now figure 3.2 shows the marginal benefits of increasing levels of preventive measures. As the level of preventive measures increases, the contribution by further units of preventive measures decreases. That is, marginal benefits is a downward sloping curve. Now let us assume that the marginal cost of taking up preventive measures is constant at rupees X. Now in the absence of insurance, the optimal level of preventive measures will be that at which the marginal benefit is equal to the marginal cost. As shown in figure 3.3, this occurs at point E. Now suppose that the driver takes up comprehensive auto insurance. Now in such a situation, the marginal cost of preventive measures does not change. However, the marginal benefit of preventive measures changes dramatically. The driver will not see the prevention of an accident as a great benefit because the cost incurred in case of an accident is now borne by the insurance company. This reduction in marginal benefit is captured in figure 3.4, wherein the marginal benefit curve shifts inwards. With this shift, the optimal level of preventive measures reduces from the level E in the absence of insurance to level E prime in the presence of insurance. Thus, with insurance, the cost of the accident to be borne by the individual reduces and therefore the incentive to prevent accidents reduces. This leads to a much lower level of preventive measures. Moral hazard not only alters behavior, it also creates economic inefficiency. The inefficiency arises because the insured individual perceives either the cost or the benefit of the activity differently from the true social cost or benefit. Now, in the example illustrated above, the optimum outcome is given by the intersection of marginal benefit and the marginal cost curves, which is at point E. Now, with moral hazard, however, the individual's perceived marginal benefit is less than the actual, and therefore the level of preventive measures is much lower than the efficient level. So now let's try to study what will be the efficiency outcome under moral hazard. From the example illustrated above, one may conclude that society is benefited by a reduction in the cost to be borne by individuals in case of accidents. However, it actually leads to a shift in the incidence of the burden. The cost of the accident to society as a whole does not reduce with insurance. Besides this, when policyholders choose low levels of preventive measures, the insurance company is forced to hike the premiums to cover the increase in expected claims. But the premiums would not go down if policyholders chose higher levels of care. This is because the insurance company has no information on the hidden actions of the policyholders, so they don't trust them. Now, given this, the policyholders will stick to low levels of preventive measures. In such a situation of moral hazard, inefficiency in pricing emerges as unduly high premia have to be borne by all policy holders. Now, the question arises how to overcome or try to mitigate the problem of moral hazard. Now, from the above discussion, it is clear that in the presence of hidden actions of those who insure, full insurance means too little care will be undertaken because the individuals don't face the full cost of their actions. In general, insurance companies will not want to offer the consumers complete insurance. They will always want the consumer to face some part of the risk. This is practiced by insurance companies through what is called co-insurance. Now, under this scheme, the insurance company does not pay full value of the claim or the cost of the accident. Now, for example, if the co-insurance rate is 20%, it means that the insurance company will pay 80% of the claim and the individual will pay the remaining 20%. So, the higher is the co-insurance rate, the larger the proportion of the cost or claim which will be borne by the policy holder, and thus the greater the incentive to prevent it. The policy holder is thus forced to take higher level of preventive measures to ensure that his burden is reduced. Now, there is another instrument which is used by the insurance companies. This is called deductible. Under this scheme, the policy holder in case of a claim pays the initial damages up to a certain predetermined limit, above which the insurance companies pay. Now, for example, if the estimate of damages is to the tune of say rupees 2,50,000 and the deductible is fixed at rupees 60,000. This implies that the policy holder pays the initial rupees 60,000 and the insurance company bears the rest of the cost of damages. Now, if the damage is to the extent of rupees 60,000, the policy holder pays the entire amount and nothing has to be paid by the insurance company. This scheme also ensures that the policy holder takes reasonable level of preventive measures so that the cash outflow does not actually have to be borne by him or her. While these measures do not prevent the problems associated with moral hazard, but they certainly reduce the intensity. Now let us turn to another problem associated with hidden action, which is called the principal agent problem. A principal agent relationship exists whenever the principal, such as the owner, employs an agent, such as a manager, to carry out what the principal wishes. Two sets of problems may arise in such a relationship. First, the principal and the agent may have different and even conflicting objectives. For example, profit maximization may be the objective of the firm, but the manager would be interested in enhancing and enriching his own compensation, which would work against profit maximization by resulting in higher cost and reduction in profits. Second, the principal cannot monitor the agent in a cost-effective manner. These two characteristics lead to a situation of moral hazard. Agency relationships are widespread. Doctors serving as agents in hospitals, managers serving as agents in firms, managers serving as agents in real estate firms, etc. are some of the examples of such relationships. Now, the principal agent problem is widely prevalent in private and public enterprises, since most of these are controlled by the management. The manager's objective is to increase cash, thereby enabling them to enrich the compensation. However, there are certain market forces that keep the managers under control. One such force is the voice of the shareholders, which can publicize the fact that profits are not being maximized. Another force is that of corporate control, which sends the signal that poorly managed companies will face takeover bids, which is a very credible threat and will make the managers perform. While public enterprises may not have many of these market forces helping them, the government machinery does a part of the difficult monitoring job, that is, offices of account and budgets monitor the public sector enterprises. However, despite this, the principal agent problem still persists. The principal's concern is that they cannot observe the managers when they are not performing, that is, when they shirk work. A manager shirks work because he prefers leisure to work. The principal is concerned about this because there is an inverse relationship between profits and shirking. A flat salary to the manager is one of the prevailing forms of compensation. A flat salary gives no incentive for not shirking. A manager can shirk work for the entire period that he was supposed to work and yet get his salary. This form of compensation will ward off the principal agent problem only when shirking is observable. The principal can then fire the manager. However, where shirking is unobservable, this form of compensation fails to address the principal agent problem. This leads us to performance-based compensation schemes wherein the owner may tie up the manager's salary to the profitability of the firm. One such scheme is where the manager is a residual claimant. This happens when his salary is arrived at by a formula such as salary is equal to profit minus a fixed amount. The manager's salary varies directly with the firm's profits, and so he has an incentive to work towards profit maximization, which is in the interest of the owners. However, flat salary still remains popular because most salary earners do not see shirking as equivalent to leisure. The residual claimant model, despite being successful in addressing the moral hazard issue, is not implemented universally because in this model, the business risk is to be borne entirely by the agent, while the owner has greater capability to bear the risk and should at least share the risk. Hence, this compensation model is not widely applied. Moral hazards in the product markets. The problem of moral hazards has so far been discussed in the context of insurance market. It is a problem in product markets too, with a category of goods called experience goods. In the case of a movie, for example, about which the movie maker has full information, a consumer gets to know about it only after experiencing the movie. In many markets, there is asymmetric information on product quality, and firms actually cheat the customers, and the consequences is the same as that in the lemons market, wherein the bad quality goods drive out the good quality goods. The producer of good quality goods and the consumers are interested in mitigating this problem and have responded in many different ways. So, let us discuss these different ways. The first one is brand name reputations. One of the most important market responses to the problem of moral hazards is the development of brand name reputations. It is in the interest of the producer of good quality products to let the market know the goods quality. IBM, Toyota, McDonald's, GE and many others have sunk in substantial investment over extended periods of time to establish a reputation and make customers indulge in repeated purchases, with good quality being reinforced each time the good is experienced. Once this is done, the firm cannot change the quality of the product, and buyers are convinced that the manager will not do anything that will destroy the brand name reputation. Brand name therefore gives an assurance to the buyer that the seller will maintain the quality of the goods. Brand name, once successful, can be extended to the whole range of products sold by the firm. Britannia, for example, was originally in confectionery business. Now it has used the brand to sell its range of dairy products. LG has extended its brand name from consumer durables to computers. Nestle has extended its original hot chocolate brand to candy bars and cookies. In such extensions, the firm's reputation is the assurance it offers to the consumers in order to ensure that it is providing a good quality product. The above mechanism will successfully substitute a full information situation only when the seller has the incentive to do so. A seller is forced not to deviate from quality because of the threatened loss of reputation in the future. This would be an effective threat only if he is assured of earning supernormal profits in the future due to the reputation. Now, if the seller gets the price just equal to or marginally above the good quality cost, he has no incentive to maintain good quality. In that case, he would rather cheat by delivering low quality products to increase his present profits. The seller certainly requires a price much above the cost in the future, which even when discounted to the present results in a positive stream of profits. However, the prevalence of a price much above the cost means inefficiency from society's point of view. Thus, while the problem of asymmetric information is overcome, it has been done at the cost of efficiency in resource allocation. Now, another popular response of sellers of good quality products is to offer guarantees and warranties. The firm producing a good quality product can sell its product for a higher price only if it is able to convince the consumer that its brand of the product is more dependable. A firm, by offering guarantee or warranty, is signaling its willingness to take on the risk or burden of the poor quality. Taking on such a burden is a very costly proposition for a commodity of poor quality, whereas for the producer of a good quality product, this burden or risk is low. Thus, a firm that offers extended guarantees and warranty schemes is conveying to the market that its product quality is good. While market responses are forthcoming to overcome the problem of asymmetric information, they do not result in solutions that would have been arrived at if full information prevailed, and they do not make the markets more efficient in terms of price. Summary. Now, let us summarize whatever we have discussed till now. Markets fail to perform when there is asymmetric information. Asymmetric information is a situation where one side in a transaction has more information than the other side. The asymmetry in information can arise from a hidden action, an action that one side can take but which cannot be observed by the other side. In situations of hidden actions, it is likely that the more informed side will indulge in wrong actions, leading to the problem of moral hazard. In the presence of moral hazards, the more informed side or the insured person tends to undertake low levels of preventive measures, leading to inefficiency in pricing. To cope up with the problem of moral hazard, insurance companies carry out different practices in the form of coinsurance and deductible. This helps in reducing the intensity of moral hazard. In situations of moral hazard, the parties get into contracts that provide incentives to the informed party to not resort to hidden actions. This is the way the market overcomes the principal agent problem. In product markets, the problem of asymmetric information is mitigated through a system of guarantees and warranties and by using brand reputation as hostage.